Hello YouTube, Common Collector here, and today we have a very exciting video because Lunalight Tiger is now officially unbanned. It is now sitting at 1 copy per deck when the ban list actually comes and updates. So I wanted to get this profile out as soon as I could. Mainly, this is going to be a, as you guys can see here, this is a fusion style deck featuring Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer. It just made sense for my particular build to use this because you're able to utilize stuff like Predaplant, Anaconda, and stuff like that, along with all of the other Lunalight fusion cards. So this is going to be a more fusion-based deck. There are a lot of other variants where you can use Tiger for the XZ summoning stuff. I might do a budget build of Lunalights for the budget or for the XZ style. So we will get to that hopefully eventually on the channel. But for now, this is going to be a fusion style deck. So anyways, let's get on into the profile. I was super duper sad when this card got banned a year or probably about 2 years ago now. But yeah, now finally, Lunalight Tiger is at 1. The reason why this card is banned is because it is just, or was banned, is because it was just super duper good for spamming out resources. Because if it is bounced to your hand, it is not a hard once per turn on its pendulum effect, being able to let you basically Monster Reborn a Lunalight monster once per turn. So you just basically keep redoing that. So we just want to try to bounce this card back to our hand as much as possible. So that's sort of the theme of the deck, and then just trying to get into resources for XZs and obviously the fusion summonings. Then we are playing the other Pendulum monster. They don't really play this in the XZ build, but I do still really like this because this card gets you a free fusion summon once per turn while this is on the field. And then if you have both of these out on the field, you're able to actually Pendulum for any of them between levels 1 and 5, which is really nice because basically everybody in this deck is level 4. And there's a few 3s as well, but then we're going on into the 3 copies of Kaleido Chick. This card is super duper important for the deck because it is your Foolish Burial for the deck. So the main combo plays that you're generally going to be going for is summoning out Kaleido Chick, using this to dump your Yellow Marten into the graveyard, which we will get to in a minute. And then with the Yellow Marten in the graveyard, you're able to bounce back the Tiger, and then you're able to reuse the Tiger's effect and whatnot. Then also when this card is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you're able to actually add back a polymerization from your graveyard, which is really cool. We have ways to search for polymerization, and again, we have the Anaconda as a means to get polymerization into the graveyard. So in certain duels, you're able to actually utilize that effect to get that back. And then a really nice current tech for this deck is the fact that with this card, when this card gets banished, during this turn, you can activate this effect that this turn your opponent's cards cannot be activated during the battle phase, which means that this card is really nice against Sky Strikers, because if your opponent is playing Sky Strikers and you're able to destroy their whatever their Link monster is in battle, they're not going to be able to get the Ray back because that would activate in battle. So that's really cool, I think, just to make sure that they actually don't get that resource back, and then you can actually outgrind them fairly easily. Then we have our 2 copies of Yellow Marten. Again, like I said, this card is just super nice for being able to bounce your Tiger or whatever resources back to the hand and then get a free monster out on board. So super duper nice. She also lets you search for a Lunalight spell or trap card from your deck, which is super duper cool. 2 copies of our Black Sheep. This is our searcher for polymerization. Or you can add back a Lunalight monster from your graveyard, which is also really cool. 2 copies of Blue Cat. I'm only playing 2 copies of this just because we need more names. I want to play as many names as I can because there is, again, the option to Pendulum Summon. Because you're always going to be trying to search for Tiger whenever you can get a Lunalight search off. And you have 3 copies of Wolf, so you're probably going to see Wolf fairly often. So that does mean that you can Pendulum Summon, and you can only Pendulum Summon Lunalights with the Pendulum monsters. So that is also very important to keep note of. So that's why I'm playing 2 of this. If you do get this off with your boss Lunalight monster, it doubles its attack, so it ends up being 7,000 attack and can attack twice, which is insane. We have our 1 copy of Crimson Fox. You could sort of switch these around, so that's why I put these 2 together. If you want to play 2 Crimson Fox instead of 2 Blue Cat, or just play 2 Crimson Fox, that's totally fine. 1 copy of Emerald Bird, because this card helps you sort of revamp your hands every now and then. 1 copy of Purple Butterfly, just for another name. And then 1 copy of White Rabbit to help get rid of like pesky spells and traps and whatnot. And then one of like the MVPs of the deck is our 1 copy of Blackwing Zephyros the Elite, letting us bounce back our Tiger back to our hand, which is really cool. We have 1 copy of Destiny Hero Celestial. and then 1 copy of Plasma for our Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer. Again, this is not really a budget-friendly build, but I do think that it is super duper cool that you can play a Phoenix Enforcer in this deck, and it just flows with how the deck works really, really well. And then if you can get off the Celestial to get that draw too, it's super duper nice for this deck, because this deck just does not have much searchability or draw power. Then we're going on into like one of the most amazing cards ever, Lunalight Perfume. The main thing that you need to keep in mind with this is that this card is not searchable by like your Yellow Martin, because it is a Lunalight card. They put the space in there because otherwise this deck would be so much better if this card was searchable, because with this it is a Monster Reborn, and then also it is like a Rhoda for the deck. If this card is in the graveyard, you can banish it, and then you discard a card, and then you add 1 Lunalight monster from deck to hand. So this is how you get into Tiger most of the time, so this card is super duper important. 2 copies of Lunalight Fusion, just to be able to have another means of fusion summoning along with our regular polymerization. The Lunalight Fusion, though, if your opponent has a monster special summon out from the extra deck on the field, then you're able to use one of your monsters from the deck or extra deck as fusion material, which is really, really cool, because you generally go into your fusion boss monster using this card, because the fusion boss monster requires one of the others, the Panther Dancer. So you basically just send Panther Dancer from the extra deck, and then you just need 2 more materials on hand or field, which is really, really cool. 1 copy of Fusion Destiny. I'm only playing 1. I know that it's semi-limited now with the upcoming ban list, but I do still think that just 1 Fusion Destiny in here is fine. If you see it, awesome. If not, you're probably just going to end your turn going into Anaconda anyways, because you're going to be able to get off Tiger, go into some plays. We're not focusing on the XZs per se, so you're probably going to just be able to use Tiger, go into like 2 extra monsters, and then Fusion Destiny. 3 copies of Forbidden Droplets. This could be Dark Ruler No More, but because this is a OTK style deck, and this is a going second deck, Forbidden Droplet is just really, really nice. Dark Ruler No More is still really good because it is going second, but again, Droplet is just super duper nice to be able to bust through your opponent's stuff and let them still take damage. 1 copy of Regeki. It is up to 3 now, but I think that it is just still fine because I'm playing 1 copy of Harpy's Feather Duster, just another means to be able to break through your opponent's board. You could swap this out for like 2 or even 3 Lightning Storms, because again, this is basically always going to be a going second deck. I just don't have 3 copies of Lightning Storm. I think that this still works really well, though. If you see one or the other or both, it's really, really good. We have 1 copy of Fire Formation Tenki, because that is limited. We have 1 copy of Foolish Burial, 1 copy of Foolish Burial Goods. We're just playing a whole bunch of limited cards, I guess. And then 1 copy of Monster Reborn. Monster Reborn is really, really nice in here because it helps you to bring back certain resources that are really, really crucial. And then if your opponent does disrupt your Phoenix Enforcer route and all that stuff, you can bring stuff back, and it just helps get your engines back online. We have 1 copy of Called by the Grave, just to make sure that our searches go through, and then 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence, again, just to help break boards and stop our opponent from making really powerful boards. I usually just always save this for a Predaplant Anaconda if my opponent's playing DPE or something. And then if they don't end up doing that at the end of the turn, then you just have this for negating stuff like an Appaloosa or something like that. But getting on now into the extra deck, we're starting off with the Lunalights. We have our 2 copies of the Cat Dancer. This card is super duper nice because it's the easiest to go into. All you need is 2 Lunalights and a Polymerization, so super duper doable for this deck. Also cannot be destroyed by battle, which is really, really cool. They all have really nice properties for like protection. So then we also have our 2 copies of the Panther Dancer. So with Panther Dancer, it requires Lunalight Cat Dancer plus another monster. This card can't be destroyed by card effects, and then also it can just deal out a ton of damage. Then I was thinking of dropping down the Leo Dancer to 1 copy, but it's still just really nice to have that extra option. It's super duper easy to go into 2 Leo Dancers in a duel, especially if you're in a grind, so it's really important to have this. This requires your Lunalight Panther Dancer and then 2 other Lunalights. It's so easy to go into this with your Kaleido Chick. The Kaleido Chick is just a godsend for this deck, so can't be targeted or destroyed by your opponent's card effects, which is really cool. Also, then this card can attack twice during the battle phase and has 3,500 attack, so it's just an absolute tank. We have then our 1 copy of the Saber Dancer. This card card comes in handy late game because it can end up giving one of your monsters a 3,000 attack boost. And then our 1 copy of Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer, just to help OTK or clear boards or just whatever. If you're going to be in a grindier duel, this card is just amazing. This used to be Dragoon, and Dragoon still works really, really well. But if you don't end up getting the OTK, then this is just really, really nice to be able to have this. And then you have the Celestial helping you also with your follow-ups. Then 1 copy of Raid Raptor Force Tricks. This just helps you to search out your Zephyros the Elite, which is really cool. You could also add in the Raid Raptor, the Raider's Wing, but the Raider's Wing is more or less used for like the XZ variant of this deck, and I'm not really focusing on it too much, so I felt like I really didn't totally need it, but it is a very nice extender for the deck and a backup option if you already have the Zephyros. 1 copy of Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Tiger King, 1 copy of Time Thief Redoer, just because Redoer is so cool in this deck, and then 1 copy of Double A Zeus, because we are still playing quite a bit of XZs, so if you're playing this many XZs, you just gotta play Zeus. 1 copy of Almirage. This card is just in here for if you have really weird hands and you just have to sort of fix them, mainly if you have like your Tiger and you have, so if you have your Tiger in hand and then you have a Yellow Marten or like a Black Sheep, then you just normal summon Black Sheep, link it away for Almirage, and then you can use Tiger to bring this back, and then maybe you have enough going on for something like a Polymerization or something that you can get going. But yeah, Almirage comes up every now and then. 1 copy of Anaconda, because we have all of our Polymerization and Fusion targets. I did not play Super Poly in this deck, just because I don't think Super Poly is as good right now, because there's not a lot of decks that are ending on a lot of Darks or anything like that. So maybe if we get better Super Poly targets, or just more decks that are more relevant for Super Poly, this card we could end up using Super Poly again, because again, this is a going second deck, and that is so good going second, but just for now, it just didn't seem right. And then 1 copy of Boral Sword Dragon, just to help with the OTKs. You don't really want to play Access Code Talker in here, so it is still very budget friendly to play the Boral Sword. If you can get Boral Sword out along with a Leo Dancer, it is game over right there. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This one was a really fun one to pick back up. I was so excited when I saw that the Tiger was back. That was absolutely insane. Probably one of the most crazy hits on that ban list, but or one of the most crazy releases. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for today. If you guys are not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing to the channel, and also go ahead and check out the Patreon. Links to the TCG player and all that stuff, my affiliate links down in the description below. All that stuff is going to be down there in the description. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think, if you guys are running this deck, and if you guys want to see any more variations. I'll probably be doing a budget XZ variant fairly shortly, hopefully. So let me know down in the comments, and we'll catch you guys next time. Peace.